We stay until it works because you need to know that you have somebody that's on your side and exactly what the results that you're going to get are. And we're going to do that for you. Hi, my name's Steve Kidd. I am a third generation minister, international best-selling author of 40 books and counting. Wow, can you believe it? 40. Over the course of the last 40 years in business, I've had the amazing privilege of working with over 5,000 people in the process of writing, publishing, marketing their books to bestseller, everything that goes beyond that. I've worked with doctors, lawyers, multi-billionaires, nurses, stay-at-home moms, people who are brand new. They're starting their company right now, and people who have had established businesses for years. For people that are actually literally the go-to expert, they've been called upon by governments, they've been called upon, by television shows, all those kind of things to share their knowledge and their brilliance with the world. And I work with them just the same as I work with you. We have honed our systems to the point where we can absolutely guarantee you, tell you very specifically what the results are, what you're going to get, and how it's going to, work for you. We don't want you to have to do a bunch of, advanced mathematics to figure out how does CPC and what does that mean? What is CPM and what does that mean? For those of you that don't know, CPM is cost per thousand impressions. CPC is cost per click. And when you normally run ad campaigns and things like that, most all of those are based on those kind of platforms, meaning that you could spend $500 and end up with absolutely nothing. You could have thousands of people that saw your ad, and you paid all of that money, and it doesn't have to be 500. It could be 5,000. It could be 50,000. If the ad isn't set up right, you could spend all of that and have a whole lot of impressions and have no results. Same is true with clicks. You can hone it down a little bit and say, okay, I'm only going to pay you when somebody clicks on my ad and goes to my page or goes to the sign up or whatever. But again, those may work. They may also not. They may very definitely be a situation where you could spend, again, thousands, tens of thousands of dollars and end up with a lot of people that have clicked and seen your stuff, but not necessarily anybody that bought the things from you, got the things from you, interacted with you, booked an appointment, those kind of things. If we move over away from, Google ads and Facebook ads, and we talk more about interactions on LinkedIn, and if you're on LinkedIn, you've probably gotten hit up 1,000 times for, what if we could get you qualified people to come, directly to book with you? There are a ton of those kind of systems. But first of all, do you know who the right person is? Second of all, what is your definition of qualified versus what is their definition of qualified? And again, they could give you thousands of quote unquote qualified people. Doesn't mean, and it doesn't have to necessarily even mean that you're not good at sales. It could be that you're very good at sales, but their idea of qualified and yours may not be the same. You could go through all of that and you could end up with literally no sales. So what we've done is we put together systems and processes because we know that you need to market yourself, okay? I can guarantee you after 40 years in business that and there's a whole lot of things that hold to be true, but the one thing about marketing that is the truth is what you do now is what's going to show up in about 90 days. And that can be very, 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 very frustrating because what we really want is some kind of magical cure that allows us the capability to be able to do something today and get massive results, later this afternoon. We live in that microwave society. We want to put the thing in the microwave and, a minute to 5 minutes later have a completely cooked gourmet meal, right? It doesn't really work that way though, because even if you use microwave food, perfect example, okay? There are chefs that spent sometimes even weeks and months honing the recipes, both so that they, hit your palate in the way that they do. In other words, that you want to buy them again, as opposed to being like, well, that wasn't very fulfilling, right? Um, as well as meets whatever nutritional or dietary or any of those kind of things. There is a ton of, sometimes as much as even months and years of preparation and planning that goes into it. And then, yes, most of those kind of situations are cooked in mass and then placed into the little individual containers. And there's a lot of automations that can come to play on that. But again, that's a whole lot of expense. You gotta either pay the people to individually place it in the little thingy, or you've got to buy the machine that will do that for you. A lot of work and effort that went into before. You're the last step of the chain. You're the person who takes the box out of the freezer, takes the container out, tears the foil, or, well, not foil, but the plastic, puts it in the microwave and clicks the button. Okay. And even with that, we tend to be very impatient. Oh my gosh, I got to wait 5 minutes. Oh, it's like this morning with breakfast. I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm waiting like 15 minutes for the air fryer to finish, right? That's the way we want our marketing to work. The truth is that what we do now, we're going to see the results of 90 days from now or more, but it's going to be a minimum 90 days before those results start showing up. Also, though, the other side is true. What we stop doing now, within 90 days, will be completely dead. Okay. All too often, and I've seen this happen a gazillion times. A gazillion, that's a great number, isn't it? That people will cut their marketing budget. Often that's one of the very first places that companies cut themselves. Whereas really that should be the very last thing. Because basically when you cut your marketing budget, you are cutting the potential of your company. And if you completely eliminate the spending in that part of your company, you've closed down your company. It may take a while for it to get to the point where the door's actually closed, but the minute you stop marketing is the minute you've gone out of business. And that doesn't matter whether you're just a casual writer who is writing stuff and wants people to read their books, or you're an advanced entrepreneur running a Fortune 50 company. And everywhere in between those, that reality still happens. So what we've done is we've understand your pain is basically what I'm saying. And we've created systems and processes and definite deliverable marketing programs that we base totally based on this result is going to cost you this much kind of thing. And we know how many hours it takes or whatever for us to do that. And we've got all the systems and the processes built. And so much the same as you can get, and it depends on what microwave meal, you can get a microwave meal that's $1. You can get a microwave meal that's, in fact, if you get some of the, ones that are designed for family size meals, those can cost you 30 or 40 bucks. But you can get, anywhere along the lines, but that taking the plastic wrap off and putting it in the microwave, that's the last piece of it. And we've priced it down to the point where, just like that microwave meal, take something really simple, like your really basic 50-cent or 99-cent burrito. Okay. I'm not saying it's the most nutritious food in the world, but you can go to whatever 7-Eleven and grab one of the little ones off of the thing. And I don't know if they're selling for 99 cents anymore. They may be closer to $2 now, but you know what I'm saying. Okay. And you just pop it in and boom, you've got it done. That's what we want it to be for you. In point of fact, what we want it to be is you tell us this is the result I want, and we go and get that result for you. And we say to you, this is what it costs to do that. Primary piece of that is reviews. Okay. Not because we're selling reviews. And I want to be really clear with that because Amazon's very finicky about you can't buy reviews. Okay. So what you are buying is our time to go do the things. You could do it all yourself. You can make the connections. You can do the individual, connection with them till you'll find somebody that will specifically buy your book, and then you can make sure they get the book, and then you can follow up with them to see if they're reading the book and what they think about it, and then you can follow up with them further and be like, hey, did you finish the book? And then when they did finish the book, say, would you please, if you liked the book, write a review about it. And then you can do the follow up and say, you see what I'm saying? I mean, there's a whole lot of steps in there to just get a real legitimate human being to buy your book, read your book, review your book. Seems simple, but any of you, and it doesn't matter how huge your following is. You may have 1,000 reviews. You may have 0 reviews. You know how much work you put into that. And if you said, well, yeah, but I put my book out and now over the course of the last couple of years, I've gotten 1,000 reviews because you already had the following, right? How long did it take for you to build that following? And are the reviews continuing? Or did you release the book 2 years ago and now, I was looking at somebody's book the other day and it's still doing pretty well. And it got, oh my gosh, don't quote me on this, but like 5,000 reviews. It's done really well. But however, in this last 12 to 15 months, it's gotten 1 review. What does that mean? That means that it's losing the signal, losing the fire, losing the momentum that it once had. You need to have that continuing, ongoing marketing for that. Now you can I'll take, for example, my favorite author, Terry Brooks, who wrote all of the Shannara books. Okay. Terry is not doing any marketing for the book Sword of Shannara other than, and this is important, other than at the back of just about every Terry Brooks book is going to be a list of all the other books by Terry Brooks. And so if you liked that one, or if you happen to get, the most recent Shannara book, you might be like, oh, well, I need to go back all the way, which in this particular case is all the way back to the one he wrote in 1976. And I need to read through all of them. Okay, so even in that, but as far as actively, Terry's not going and doing book signings for Sword of Shannara or any of that original trilogy. It's very passive, but it's still there. He still makes it known, I have all of these books in the Shannara series. He doesn't ever stop the marketing of it. And that becomes true for you too. And if you took somebody like, for example, John Maxwell, who has about 150, don't quote me on exactly the number, but about 150 books. Again, he has a couple of them that he's actively promoting, and then another couple of dozen of them that if you are part of his followers and trainings that he does and stuff are often part of the curriculum. But he also has places where you can see every single book that he has. And he has people in his support team that are trained to go, oh yeah, John answered that question in XYZ. You see, marketing continues on. And we want to, number one, and most importantly, and that's why I want you to DM or comment the word review so that we can just meet. And I just want to, let me take a look at it for free. You and I will get together. We'll set up a time. I'll look at your stuff and I'll give you some actionable, free information, stuff you can do. I do it all the time and I'm glad to do it. What I'd like is for you to say, hey, okay, Steve, show me how I can actively, continually, every month get reviews. Show me how I actively, continually can get more people that are just, they know my book exists. There are some really great free giveaways, low cost giveaways, things like that. How can my book win some awards? How can I get on TV, radio, podcasts, those kind of things? We've got all those in place, and we can tell you exactly what we will give you and exactly what that's going to cost. That's what we've done to make your life easier, to make it really, truly, powerfully work for you, because you're not doing this alone. We're here for you. We look forward to working with you. Do DM or comment the word review, and let's talk. I'm so glad to have you here with us. Tomorrow, let's see, what are we going to talk about tomorrow? Tomorrow, we're going to talk about proof and how proof can become a choice. We'll talk about that tomorrow. And until we're together again then, I hope you're happy, safe, warm, and loved, and you have a great week.